Hello everybody, Makadi, Munjani, Murikabotu, Chinivo, Linjani. Welcome to the TJey Show. In this compiling episode of Breaking Boundaries, we sit down with David Banda, a renowned Zimbabwean musician who is now residing in the United Kingdom, to delve into the pressures and expectations placed on men in today's society. David shares his personal journey and insights on how societal norms shape the roles of men, particularly intensive pressures to succeed and provide. We explore the impact of these expectations on mental health, relationship, and personal growth. Join us as we uncover the hidden struggles many men face and explore ways to redefine success and respect in modern context. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much, my sister Jennifer. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful show. I'm really looking forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We'll just go straight into our questions. You mentioned that men are expected to work hard and succeed to earn respect. How has this expectation shaped your journey as both a gospel musician and a man?
Right. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Yeah, right. The thing is, I think you did your research very well. This, you took it from the post that I've been posting on Facebook, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we are here today. If I'm not wrong, look at it. Let's look at it this way, Jennifer. Because first of all, let me mention this. Whenever I post something, I'm just trying to provoke discussions. So that's the main reason why I did that. So I will be also learning from that. Because there are quite a number of things that men are going through. It doesn't necessarily mean that I am perfect, and it doesn't also necessarily mean that the answers that I will give you are the right answers. But I'm also looking at the things as a human being myself, with the things that I do. There are also things that I actually go through. So now, coming back to your thing, because when I posted that one, I actually come across a clip where, because usually I'm on social media, and then you find out that there are some things that are being discussed there. So this one, specifically, it had something to do with a certain man who was discussing about men, to say that men are supposed to provide for the family, fine, to be organized so that they can gain respect from
society.
No, not necessarily society, but from their women.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you are like a married couple. Yes, but we can associate that to a society, to society as well. Anyway, Jennifer, just like the way that you are saying. So in this case, it was mainly about men.
Couples.
Yes, like
the
couples, married couples, whereby women probably they will be saying that I can't respect him because he's not organized. So in my mind, I'm thinking, it comes both ways. That's my thinking. So most of the things that I'll tell you, Jennifer, is these are my own opinions.
Yes.
They might differ from everybody else.
That's right.
And then everybody else has got they're entitled to their opinion. But when I posted that post, it was mainly I was just thinking in terms of in the relationships, there are two people. They come two people,
Yes.
A woman and a man. So at the end of the day, it also depends with what the woman will be bringing as far as in a marriage, should I say? Because you can't just say that, oh, I'll only respect this man just because
He's providing.
he's providing or he's organized. I don't want to lie to you. For me, I believe that yes, as a man, as in the context, because I'm a Christian, we put it in the Christian context,
yes.
where you say that I'm the head of the family. So definitely I need to provide. But there are some circumstances whereby things are not going right. That's when you need someone who can be there for you, to support you as well.
I think I do agree with what you're saying. On a Christian basis, you need a wife as a helper, isn't it?
Yes.
In your post, you talked about the pressure men face to provide. How do you think these societal expectations impact men's mental health, especially in the Zimbabwean context?
Right. Yeah. I like your questions, because they sort of like make me, try to think and be very careful of what I say, because people, they might think otherwise. But let's look at it this way. That's again, like I've said already, it's my opinion. In a Zimbabwean context,
yes,
we are looking also at the economy, that the current economy of Zimbabwe. You'll find that, it's very difficult, for a man to be able to provide. But I've been to Zimbabwe just recently, yes, and I would see that, men, they are doing everything possible to provide for their families. Yes. And they are doing very well, despite the economy situation or the hardships that they are going through. Because here, where I'm comparing where I am here, UK comes with its own, hardships as well. It's not like it's smooth sailing as other people might want to think. It's not. Mm-hmm. But for someone who is in Zimbabwe, okay, let me put it this way. When I posted that the post that I did, actually, mm-hmm, there was some response. And I was reading through those, and I was trying to think in terms of how, like how the question is coming in. In Zimbabwe, men, they are providers, yes. And it's kind of different from here, because most of the times in Zimbabwe, we find that, of course, women nowadays, things have changed. They will be also going to work. But as a man in Zimbabwe, you are supposed to provide for the family regardless of what. Now,
so is it only in Zimbabwe or here?
Even here. But I'll come to that one. But for the time being, I want to just give you an example of what someone said in the comment section. You are saying that, look, I've got a man that I know. This guy is he used to work. Is it or something with a company that he used to work for? But with the current situation, he's no longer working for that company. Now, because he's no longer working for that company, he still needs to provide for his family. What does he do? Mm-hmm. He's selling some stuff in Mbaremsika. Mm-hmm. So when I talked to this guy, he was saying that, man, because of the pressure that comes from home, I have to do this. But regardless of whatever he brings.
So, from what I get, are you saying he's now selling? When you say stuff, I need a little bit of clarifications.
Right.
Like, yes, can you clarify it a bit? Because, like, you're saying stuff, and then he's just bringing money home. Yeah. Is it all about bringing money home, or like?
Well, from what I understood about this one, mm-hmm, it's about bringing money home, because you've got a family to look after.
So that's the pressure that men are getting out there.
Yes.
Because he needs to provide for his family.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, chero zvaita.
Well,
yes, as long as ndaunza chikafu
kumba manje kavanoti ari kuhustler, there is a lot of hustling back home. So if that person is not able to bring something kumba manje, pressure inenge yakumba. So like what I was saying, the guy is able to bring something. If he doesn't bring anything at all, and then the pressure comes from the wife to say that hausicushanda zvakasimba zvekuti uunze chikafu kumba. So that pressure now is going to the men, and eventually that's when we start to talk about mental health, because usually in a man's mind you are thinking, I need to provide for my family, and if I don't do that, the pressure ichazovakumba.
So we go back then again to the issue of respect.
Well, that's where we are coming from, isn't it, Jennifer? Because straight away, that's the respect that we are talking about. Don't get me wrong. There might be men who are out there who are lazy. We can understand that. Oh. Maybe they're just there. They are not doing anything to make sure that they...
So, guys, varume out there, you heard it for yourself. Majinzgwira mega. Kwanzi kunavo varume who are out there, who are lazy. Come on, man.
Well, we have to be honest here, because, you know, at times, it's not about every time that we come across these kind of things, we say, because he's lazy, that's why. There are other people, there are other men who are trying, they are doing everything possible, you know, to provide for the family. So that's why I'm talking about this guy as an example in Zimbabwe. Now, mental health, now I'm coming back to the mental health kind of thing. That will affect you. Definitely it would affect you, and then it will make it very difficult for you to be in a position, you know, to provide for the family. But maybe I can leave it at that for now, but we'll come back to the issue, because you asked about the UK kind of version.
Yes. How do you believe these pressures of being man enough, man, I like the cut, you know, man enough.
Yeah.
How do you believe these pressures of being man enough influence the relationships both in Zimbabwe and within the border community?
Yeah.
The issue with men, I'm a man. I know what I'm talking about. We are sort of like stubborn at times.
Men are stubborn.
Yes.
Majinzgwira mega, guys. So that statement, if we now come kuvarume and then we say men are stubborn, they will not like it. But mukushinzgwira mega from one of you guys, murume atauraka zvimiririra. Quite at times miri stubborn.
Yes.
Please go.
Right.
And kuri kuchurch vanhu vavati go deeper, papa.
Yes.
So
Okay, stubborn wandiri kutaura ka. Inini ndatiwo ndiri murume. I'm talking in terms of we have got this pride as men. Okay. We can't come out to say our things. So at the end of the day, the ego. So at the end of the day, we suffer internally. We don't speak it out. We are not in a position to say that I'm suffering from this. Hence the reason why we continuously have mental issues and everything. At the end of the day, we also have men. I know examples of men who have ended up, you know, ending their lives because of ego.
Yes, that is the main reason we are talking about this.
Yeah.
Because the number of suicide that has been recorded, I think of late, even Tichtarisa back home, Van Wekuti, you'd say they are pastors. Van Wekuti, you could say they are celebrities. Van Wekuti, unotima socialites.
Yeah.
But in Van Wanengwachit, no, he was a comedian. He was a this, he was like that. But he committed suicide. That's the main reason why we are having this program. That's why I said, let us bring a man so that we can understand why of late suicides awanda, mental health dziri kuwanda kuvarume zviri kunatsoitika. Thank you so very much, Banda.
So anyway, to continue to what I was just trying to explain there, you see the struggle that you have for not providing for the family, that's what brings mental health. So in this part of the world here in UK, there are many ways that you can get help as far as mental health is concerned. I can tell you about, you know, we've got counselors. You can go to the GP. They will bring a counselor for you so that you can. But now with men, because you don't bring it out, there is no way that they will know about this thing. That's one thing. Then, having said that, it will also bring a strain to a relationship at home, within the family, and most of the times.
So, sorry to cut you. So, are you saying that being a man, if you want to talk about what you're going through, men feel like it's going to strain the relationship, it's going to have an impact if you talk, it will have some impact on the relationship? Like, is it what you're saying?
What I'm basically saying as men, most of the times, I feel, because of the ego that we've talked about, you just don't want to reveal to somebody that this is what I'm going through.
Yes.
Which actually makes it very difficult in a relationship, in a home where you've got a family, not only at home, even at work, wherever you are. So for that reason, it's very important that let me talk about myself anyway. So because at the end of the day, I don't want it to appear as if I'm talking about men, but in a way, I will talk about myself and how I deal with these kind of things. For me, I feel that it's very important that I should be in a position to talk to someone that you can trust anyway at the end of the day, because it's not everybody that you can go to and say, wow, this is what's, because at the end of the day, that person, if he's not trustworthy, they will go out there and talk about those things out there and then make the situation even worse. If I make it possible for me to talk to a friend who I can trust, I know that that friend of mine will be in a position to help me with the situation. And for that reason, it's also very important that you can even go to the, like I've said already, the counselor, I mean, for counseling.
Yes.
Because, that way, it will also mean that you can get enough help from there. What happens if you hide those kind of things? That's when you start thinking of other things that you might end up doing which are not right at the end of the day. Like we have already, because all these things, they will lead to depression. All these things, they will end up making you feel that... Because what I'm trying to say, basically, the way that you are hiding those things is you are just thinking that I'm safe hiding whatever I'm going through, not knowing that you are giving yourself more pressure rather than you going out there, and talk about it so that you can get help.
Yeah, because at times I think Anzi kujitaura is better than to keep holding it inside. Chichipresa in more.
It accumulates as well, do you know?
Yes, and that's where people start to have depression. That's where you have mental breakdown and all. So.
And most of the times, maybe even if what I wanted to conclude, men, we think that if I discuss this with somebody is going to judge me. So that's the reason why at times men, we don't want to be speaking out about those things. So because of course the world is kind of judgmental.
Yes. At the end of the day,
so yeah.
Well, thank you so very much, David. You mentioned that the expectations for men to be providers isn't just a Zimbabwean issue, but it is globally. How do you think this dynamic is different or similar for Zimbabwean men living abroad like yourself in the UK?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you know what? Most of the times, what happens, Jennifer, when you move to go to another country,
yes,
you are dealing with quite a number of things, culturally and everything. When I moved to UK, that's when I discovered that it's not the same as back home in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, probably I'll put it, I'll give an example of Zimbabwe, where I come from, where I know that in Zimbabwe there is this idea that if I'm going to work, I've got other relatives around me who can help me. My mom is there, my grandmother is there, sisters and everything. When you move to the UK, it's totally different. Now we are talking about you probably, if you are married, now we are talking about the kids that you are looking after. You need to have the child care and everything. Kunoka kuna zvezvo zvekuti baba vakabva kubasa vanovhaisa makumba kitchen munotofanira kutopindawo muchinobika and all those things. So both of you now you are working. How can you work around those things? Which is very important. So for other men, they find it very difficult. They come all the way from Zimbabwe, they come here, they still want to do it the same way that they were doing back home. And that's when you see some issues coming in.
Now that's where we talk about my issues at Kunetana and all that.
Yes.
It's very important that people should realize that eventually when you come this part of the world, things has to change. You have to change the pampers, some of the things that you didn't do before.
Actually, that's where I think people would want to debate on this one. But if you come to the other side of the world, like you rightfully said, everything that you do is like 50-50.
Yes, it is 50-50. But having said that as well, I don't want to just... the 50-50 thing it's a debatable thing, because some women, they will say that this is a different part of the world, my friend, let's do this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they should lose that respect
for their husband.
Yes,
right,
because
the husband is just the head.
Yes, but having said that, us as men as well, we have to adjust. We go according to what is happening now, because we are no longer in Zimbabwe. There are things that needs to be done, but at the same time, as a man, you find that you still need to provide for the family, whether the wife is working or not. That's what I've noted, because at the end of the day, it's not about you relying with your partner to say that no. In a African context, the man still remains the provider of the family. But having said that, I think that's where sometimes, according to my own understanding, that's where some issues also arise, because there are sometimes things that they don't go very well. That's when you need a supportive partner. And if you don't get that supportive partner now, also it becomes very an issue. It's not necessarily it doesn't necessarily mean that the guy or the man is not. I've mentioned about there are some men who are not that. Yes. But there are sometimes when things they don't go right. But I was actually listening to this preacher who was preaching at a ladies' conference, and he was talking about, I liked what he said. For a lady, he was trying to advise the ladies to say that, ladies, at times, things, they don't go very well for a man, but be there for him. Be there for them. So that you encourage the men to say that, okay, daddy, but zvichaita sei? Zvichanaka. Inini personally, I feel kuti kazhinji kacho, most cases, my cases akaita kunge iwayo, things are not going very well. I try to focus on saying I keep telling myself, because I'm a Christian, I'll keep telling myself that I'm just going through a phase. Eventually that phase will come to an end, and then things will be okay. Not necessarily kuti things are not going very well, then mudzimai wowe afuto akutoisa pressure pamusoro kuti saka tichaita sei, akutopanika even wese, saka tichaita sei, imimi ndimi baba ka, saka ngambe uone zvekuita ndimi baba.
Oh, yes.
So that makes it very difficult for a man now. Where pressure the man will sit down. I need to do something about this. And then maybe you end up doing other things which are not, that you are not supposed, just because you want to be someone who will be there.
Because of the pressure, you won't be thinking right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Pandanya Tobati Sisainini is when you said it is 50-50, but that doesn't necessarily mean vakadzi should disrespect their husbands because Trukubatsirana.
Yeah.
So Tipa Batisi say Papa Matsmai. Let's take note of that.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Before we go for our break, I'm just going to ask you one question and then we go for our break. What role do you think culture plays in shaping these expectations for men? And how have you navigated these cultural pressures whilst you're living in the UK?
You see, there are two different things here that we're talking about. The culture in Zimbabwe and the culture here is kind of different.
Different, yes.
So it's very important, like I've already mentioned, maybe I mentioned a few when we were discussing about from the previous discussion that we've just had. Culture, because culture, the way that mudzimai anorespekta murume wake zvakasiyana nekunoku, but hazvifanira kuti mudzimai atore advantage yekuti because taakunoku. I'm talking in terms of the way things are done here in the UK nekumba. Maybe I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yes, you are.
Because you know it's very important kuti vanhu vazive izvozvo. We are talking of different cultures at the end of the day. Because kumba, the respect inopiwa munhu wechirume and everything zvakatongosiyana.
Yeah, so that's why I asked the questions.
Yeah.
You know, that how culture plays a role when we are in Zimbabwe and how also it is done here. Yes.
At times it's very difficult to because it's a culture, I think it's especially when it comes to here in the UK. Hazvifanira kuchinja nokuda kwekuti taaku UK, so that at least hatichaita zvedu ayo. But kana uriwo kubasa, that's a different thing altogether. Where you can do what you are supposed to be doing according to the companies. Yeah, but at home, everything else I feel it should stay the same culturally and everything. Kana baba vachifanira kupiwa. We were just joking a few minutes ago about it's debatable, it's those kind of things. If someone can do it,
it is our culture. Yes, I know, because I was actually telling Mr. Banda's wife, because she was giving us some water, so she was kneeling down and all. So I was like, no, don't do that to me. But then, like, you heard him saying it, because it is the culture. So from what I heard here, from what I just hear him saying now, is that, guys, kana tawia ku UK, it doesn't mean that takusia hunukumba. So let us respect each other, despite the fact of where you're living, whatever or wherever you are. Hunu ubuntu wako ngaungoramba hungoripo, hunu wako ngaurambe huriwo ubuntu.
Yes.
I think also it's also balancing between the culture back home and here. And because you know there are things that torera, maybe just for me to add on to and so
yes.
I've noticed one thing right now with the social media around. Yes, social media is iri kukanganisa zvinhu zvakaita sei. And don't get me wrong, social media is okay, but at times, you know, people, they want to, they are getting more advice from social media, how to run their homes and all those kind of things, and so that at the end of the day we are losing we are doing away with our culture. long time ago we used to have anatete. Variko, but I think they are not playing their role zvakanyanya because vanatete varipo futi kuumbiridza mhuri kuti zvatinofanira tichita zvakati tichichengetedza unhu hwamataura mati unhu. So that's very important. But nowadays, most of the times, from what I've noticed, because as you have mentioned, I'm a gospel musician, maybe a part-time gospel. I'm not a full-time, but I'm always on social media. Some of the things that I can come across, and I'm thinking, wow, because there are people there who will be advising women, this is how you should treat your men and everything. And then people usually, I know what I'm talking about. Most of the time nowadays we are more on social media, and then the influence that the social media is having on families, because that's where we are getting all the stuff.
Yeah,
this is
we're
how
getting advice.
Yeah, so it's very important what kind of advice you are getting from there. And then there are some instances where you can go on social media and get good advice. That's fine. You can make use of that, but also we have to be very, 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 very careful. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, David Banda.
Thank you.
Tichambo Miramvura, we're going to take a break. Welcome back, guys. I hope Tambo Miramvura. On this episode, we are talking to a Zimbabwean gospel musician, David Banda. You know what, guys? There's something that I just want to tell you. David Banda, and he's one of those those guys vakaimba. I think they noted the hit song, CCAP. I think I'm just like all of you out there. Kuimba song zvisiriizvo. Ndakazviziva kuti I was singing. My lyrics are serious. Recently, when I met David, I think a few months ago, that's when I heard kuti if I tell you guys, I only get to know kuti uyimirire nganganga. I used to say I don't know. I don't even know what I was singing. Anyway, welcome back, David.
No, you're not alone. I think people, they've got different versions for ganganga. Yeah, so they end up doing it in their own. But anyway, the emphasis is about standing firm on God. That's yeah.
Oh,
so thank you
so
very much.
David, your post emphasizes the importance of working hard to achieve success and earn respects. Can you share any personal experience where you faced challenges in meeting these expectations and how you overcame them?
Wow. Wow. I'm still facing issues, to try to work hard, ndakazviparira ndiri papost yakomana. Well, that's like I've told you already. When I did the post, I even wanted to hear what people are, the views of the people and all that. But anyway, since we are talking about me and you have thrown back the question to me, I'll try by all means, to answer that one. There are a lot of challenges that you face in life, and being a Christian, I think one thing that I've done mostly is to persevere and to be patient. During the life, especially when I moved to the UK, there are quite a number of things that I faced, difficult moments. But one thing that I didn't do away with is prayer. To say to God, you're the only one who have taken me here, and you are the only one who can take me out of this kind of situation. So I can tell you about the things that had happened before, But God has been so good to me to such an extent that I will tell myself that regardless of whatever I'm going through, I don't want to go to... Let me actually tell you about the mental health issue. I faced that kind of thing a long time ago.
Oh.
And I was going through a very difficult moment. I can't dwell on that one because it's kind of personal. Oh. But since you have asked me how did I get out of that one, it was very difficult. I have to be honest with you.
So you know, because you mentioned it, that it happened to you.
Yes.
Do you perhaps want to share just a little bit of, the challenges that you faced then? And
yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a situation whereby you have nowhere else to go. You're facing challenge where you don't have anywhere to go.
Was this when you relocated from Zimbabwe to the UK? Or it was years after?
Years after, actually. It's actually years after. That's why I was saying it's a bit personal, because it involves relationships and all that. Oh. So, let me put it this way, because my previous relationship had ended. You come to a point where you're thinking, there is no need for me to live anymore.
Sorry to take you aback. Yeah. Did the relationship end because you relocated?
No. It's I'm talking about marriage. Okay. Yes. So eventually I did actually move on. But I'm talking in terms of what happened during that time of...
What caused you to break down?
So the breakdown was mainly because of what it actually transpired during that period. But what did I do? I don't want to lie to you, because it's like as if people think that this one is a strong person, you are always smiling and everything, but deep down things are going on and you are suffering inside. But I want to thank God, because I had support from my pastors and friends who were there for me. And with a prayer, eventually I had to overcome all those things. And I'm glad to be where I am today, but I'm not saying that I still don't have challenges. I still got challenges even up to now. And the only thing that I think helped me more is what we were talking about previously, about talking to other people, talking to mentors, professionals, and all that kind of thing. So I'm happy also that I didn't go to an extent of going deep into depression, whereby you end up thinking of suicidal ideas, thoughts, and all that stuff. It can come. There's some point where you think, what is the point of living? What's the point of living?
You know what, guys? This is just so touching. I don't want to lie. This is how men go through. We always think men have got that ego. Avataure and tinenge pride. But now I get you when we started the conversation that I think, is it something that I can say it's within the nature of men?
I think so. I think it's within the nature of men.
To just say that if I say out my problems, or if I tell somebody out how I'm feeling, they're gonna tell somebody else, and then that somebody else, then I'm gonna end up being a laughing stock and all that.
Well, growing up as well, what you should know is we have always been we're told that you have to be a man up, yeah. I know other women as well, they take advantage of that. Be a man, you know, that kind of thing.
That's the question. Yeah, we're going back to that question that we asked earlier on, to say, you know, pressure yacho na iyo yoyo. Murukona kwa ino streets avarume guys, that angori ma words masho my kuti, men up, be a man enough. I think mawedzi wayo dai zvaitobvira taigonotonga
Yeah,
mabvisa
but
chaivo.
having said that also, I think ndopanozoda futi kuti iwo how are you going to handle that, because kuzoti munhu azosvika pakuti handa kuzviuraya and all that, it's the pressure that comes from that, because takangokura tichingodzwa kuti big boys don't cry. Saka semunhu wechirume unofanira kushinga. But inini I realized later that no, that's not the issue. Yes. At times I would go kakakona kangu ndotobochema. As soon as I come out from there, and I'm relieved.
It's not only women who cry or who are allowed to cry. Yes. Even you as men, when you feel like you're overwhelmed with some things, if you want to cry, let it out.
Yeah.
Let it out. Cry all you want. If it makes you feel better, cry. Talk to somebody.
Yes, especially that part where you've mentioned about talking to somebody. I think that's also something that helped me a lot. I'm glad that we're talking about this in the one this upper corner. I don't usually discuss about my personal.
Thank you so very much.
But you have forced me eventually to.
Thank you so very much.
My question. Because you did your research in the but anyway, at the end of the day, I'm happy to talk about it, because at the end of the day, maybe it might help someone out there to say that. Oh.
Which is the main reason why we are having the TJey Show.
Not necessarily saying that I'm perfect, because for me, I think the only other thing is I'm someone who is people, they don't understand me, but that's me. I can't be you. I can't be somebody else. It's me. You have to understand me, who I am, so that at least tisvike pakuita se pakuwirirana. Yeah, nekunzwisisana. Maybe nzwisisana is the so that's the other thing that eventually after I went all. Now I'm in a position to, even if I face a challenge, I know how to deal with it, because I've been through it before. It's like a circle, because life is like, it's always like that. It's always full of ups and downs. Yes. But at times we just want things to be up. We don't want them down, which is wrong. It will never happen in life. There will eventually come a time when you go down. But what do? Dust yourself. Get yourself up and keep going.
So, from what you just said about your life and personal experience, did you seek advice from those professionals?
For me, I didn't. I thank God that I came out of it okay, because I had support from family, my friends. Especially my friend, unfortunately I can't mention the names here, but I had friends who were there for me during that time. So, but having said that, I want to say that as men, I think it's also good to seek professional help when it really gets to that point where you can't help yourself. You can go out there. There's nothing wrong with that. Do away with that stubbornness to say that I think I'll be fine. No, you won't. Just go out there and seek help. And I've already mentioned, go to a friend that you can trust. We've got churches out there. That's the help that they can help us. Like I've said already, these pastors who were always there, always there for me as well, which I'm really grateful. Yeah.
Okay, Banda. So as a gospel artist, how do you balance the demands of your career with the expectations placed on you as a man, particularly in the context of providing for your family and the community?
One thing that I should answer you, I'm a gospel artist, yes, but I'm a part-time gospel artist. So I'm not like full-time into gospel. What I just wanted to let you know, when I'm doing music, most of the times, I feel that it's a ministry that God, or a talent that God gave me, but also it's a ministry. And God gave it to me with a purpose, you know, so I have to fulfill that purpose of preaching the word of God through music. But I do it as part-time. I used to do more music when I was back home, but nowadays, so I don't, that can be an excuse for me not to provide for, according to what you are asking, that how do I balance as a gospel musician? So nowadays, I have to be very honest with you, because I've got those guys that you were talking about, I'm still helping them, CCP Voice of Mbare, because there were a few issues with the group. So we are trying to revive the group and all that. So I help them, especially online, because they are in Zimbabwe, I'm here. Yes. So that's not an issue. I can still do that. And to me, music is therapy. So at times when I sit down in at the corner of my studio there, I think that's the other thing that also helped me. Actually, to be honest with you, that helped me during my time, because as soon as I start doing my music stuff, you know, it's therapeutic. And then you see that even if I was thinking too much and everything, I start singing. As soon as I come out of that, I'm feeling much better, and then life goes on. So you talked about providing for the family. Yeah, you know, this is England, my dear. I try, but I may not be able to do everything that I'm supposed to do as a man as well. So it's a matter of just creating time for the family most of the time to make sure that you are there. But the bills will be waiting there, so there is no choice. I need to work. So I make sure that I see to myself that, you know, I can go to work full time, and they also get help from my wife. It's a matter of balancing those things, which is a bit tricky, but we are there. We're moving.
Well, from what you said, Banda, you said the Lord called you to be a minister. And then if I heard you quite well, you said, I'm not full-time into gospel.
Yes.
Do you mean you're not full-time into gospel music? Or because when you just say...
Yeah, no, okay, I get where you are coming from. Because, you know, I like it every time when you see me, I'm a celebrity. Me, I don't think I'm a celebrity. So the reason why I'm saying that, I was just basically saying that I'm into gospel music. Yes, I sing gospel music. I've just recently released 2 singles that I do myself. So that means I'm in the... What I'm trying to say is there are other people who are full-time musicians. They rely on gospel music, or they rely on releasing songs and whatever they do. But for me, whenever I find time to do...
Yes. That's when you do your music.
That's when I do my music. When I came here, I didn't... I was just doing it for fun, to be honest. I would record and everything, but just out of fun. Then I started doing mostly praise and worship, as a praise and worship leader and all that, leading praise and worship. But now I've turned, at the present moment I'm not, I'm more like a bit laid back. I'm not doing much of that. Yeah.
Okay. Banda, how do you think we can start changing the narrative around masculinity and success to reduce the stigma around men seeking help for mental health issues?
I feel it's very important that men should know that they should prioritize their well-being. Yes. Yeah, that's very important, because for me, success is not just about money. Because usually that's what we associate success with. Yes. You know, we should also be... Our well-being is very important, healthy-wise, mentally. So most of the times, I think we've touched a lot about seeking help and all that stuff, that we have touched a lot, because that's the only thing that we need to change the mentality of men, to think that no, regardless of whatever you are going through, you can always seek help and you can get it. So most men, they just dwell in their own kind of world, and they don't want to come out. But also, they should be sort of like need to educate men how best they can come out from their shells to share their stories, or even like what we've done today, bring somebody that can tell us about if they had mental health issues and how best they've dealt with those,
just to encourage
one another. So it's more about education.
Yes, when you said success is not all about money, but your well-being as well. It just reminds me of one of the songs that came when I'm too good. He says, "Mupfumi ndiani ane mari nane utano."
Yes.
So it's not about money, guys. Shandai muchitarisawo your well-being as well.
We don't want to run away the financial aspect of it, to be honest with you. We don't want to run away, because for things to work out very well, you need money. I'll just tell you something that has just come up in my mind. Because, usually there is this thinking that if it's you are getting married, you have to. It comes back to what we were talking about, being organized. Yeah. So at the end of the day, a woman cannot marry someone who is not asingashande.
Someone who's not organized.
So that's the thing. But because what I've noticed, which is also advice that I would give to even young people who have not, because that's the thing that actually happens, because hakuna mukadzi asingade murume anoshanda. So you need to be organized. Kana haisi nyaya yekungomhanyira kungoti ndoda kundoroora and everything. Be organized.
Yes.
So that usati wapinda. But anyway, I'm trying to move away from tatichitaura. Maybe we can talk about that one later. But kuvarume inyaya iyoyo yandataura kunyanya. Well-being yako yakakosha. And it's very important that you look after yourself.
So, looking forward, what advice would you like to give to young men, especially those who are just starting out in their careers, personal lives, about managing these social expectations?
Usually, in most cases, it's about money, and everything. But success, it doesn't come through just that. The Bible itself, it says that seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be added unto thee. So that's the most important thing is for young people. It's about seeking God first. They've got things that they want to pursue. They've got passion for. Why not go for those things before you go for other things like marriage and everything? Like I've said, you need to be organized. The world that we are living in now yachinja. I say kungoti ndongonomhanyira kuroora kudhara maybe zvaigona kushanda kuti ungoti murume wangu murombo, so ndizvozvo togona tozoona pamwe chete and all that. But the world that we are living in
it has changed.
It's changed.
It's no longer like kudhara kwekuti vanambuya vedu vaingoti aiwa tinongogara zvakadaro.
You can't be defined. Zvimwe zvacho futi zvandachitotongo to just to add on to izvozvo kuti isinyaya house kuti you're wealthy and everything, and that doesn't define who you are, but it's about you nezvauroda kuti uite iwe wechidiki. Ndine vana vahombe vandinawo. I have to be honest with you, there is no parent who doesn't want their children to succeed. It's everybody's wish, especially as a parent, for to have a child kubvira achiri mudiki kusvika a teenager and achizorora and all that. So it's about working about yourself kuchikoro and everything. 1, 2, surround yourself. It's very important with the people that you surround yourself with. Not to help, but it depends.
Okay.
Yeah, the people that you surround yourself with, they are either going to make you, or they will help you fall. So it's about the people, because I think having people who knowing they are going to give me advice about how life goes.
Oh yes, that's why when I say they can give you help, I was looking in that area of advice and all.
Yes. So okay, yes, yeah. For me now, I was just emphasizing it all depends, because if you look for someone who is, the advice is just for you to be going out and everything, you are just enjoying yourself, you are not building your life, you are easily going the other way. Yes. So it's very important that you surround yourself with the people who can advise you, the friends who can challenge you to do good, so that at the end of the day, when you come to the stage where where we are, you'll be in a better, in a better position. So young people out there, the good thing is there are people out there that can help them. And as I've already said, because young people, they are the ones who are more into social media.
Yes.
So what are the things that you are picking from the social media? Are they helpful as well? That way as well, that can build the young people to be a better person. Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
David Banda. Thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you.
Breaking Boundaries.
Yes.
Guys, there is something that I want to talk about. Especially Panzi, the men being the provider, the pressures they get. Recently, I just heard that there are 2 men who were found dead. They just collapsed because they are working extra hard just to prove themselves to be men. So they are working back to back, 12 hours. I don't think it is good. Nema pressures in society, nema pressures you need to get to be respected. No kuti unve unezhin zvakadaiso nezvakadaiso. Banda explained in detail that you need to take care of your well-being. As we come to the end of this insightful episode of Breaking Boundaries, I want to take a moment of reflection on the powerful discussion we've had with David Banda. We've delved into the challenges men face, the weight of societal expectations, and the often silent struggles for respect and success. David's journey reminds us that the pressure men experience, they are just not individual battles, but they are deeply rooted in cultural and societal norms that need to be addressed. It's clear that these expectations can have profound impact on mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. But as we have learned today, the key to breaking these boundaries lies in open conversations, in challenging the status, and in supporting each other as we redefine what it means to be man enough. To all men out there and to everyone listening, remember that your worth isn't measured by how much you provide and how hard you work, but by who you are as a person. Thank you, David, for sharing your story, and thank you for being a voice.
Thank you.
And to you all, thank you our audience for joining us in this important dialogue. If today's discussion resonates with you, we encourage you to continue the conversation, reach out for support if you need, and remember, you are not alone. If you need help, remember you're not alone. We've got professional mental health practitioners. Talk to a friend. Talk to someone who is close to you. Share out. Speak out. Like what Banda said again, if you want to cry, cry if that's what helps. Until next time, this is Jennie MM on Breaking Boundaries. Stay strong, stay true, and keep breaking those boundaries.